Hi everyone, it's Beth Blankenship and this is Tapping the Heart. You know, my message to you all in these little tidbits, 5 minutes here, 2 minutes there, is all about how we can calm our mind and how we can reduce our own suffering in life. I use the word suffering because in positive psychology, which is what I just finished a master's in, I use that because it's a growing field as we speak since the late 90s. And I'm going to hold this up here for better sound. And one thing about happiness that we learned is through ancient Buddhist teaching. Suffering is, the absence of suffering is happiness. And how you can reduce your own suffering is through craving, aversion, and ignorance. Ignorance is another way. You don't want to be ignorant if you want to be happy. And craving, aversion, and ignorance have a whole lot to them. And today I want to touch on aversion. And I also want to put in a biblical example of aversion because they're everywhere in the Bible. All of psychology is in the Bible, and even though I refer to Buddhism, Buddhism isn't actually a religion, and so I like to marry anything I learn in psychology to a Bible story or to a Bible example. I just think it's a blast, and I love research, so I go in and I do that. So today I want to do a little diddly on happiness. You like that word, diddly? That's an old school word. A little diddly on happiness, okay? And it's called aversion. Now, if you have ever hated yourself so badly that you wanted to be different, you wanted to be like somebody else, I have been there, as I'm sure many of you have, and that's an example of aversion. What did ancient Buddhists determine to be happiness, and what does it look like in your life? How is aversion depicted in the Bible? Let's talk about these two things in this little diddly on aversion. So, what is happiness? Some say it's, getting rich, it's taking lots of vacations, and some is simple as a roof over your head and food in your belly, which is a big deal. Let me tell you what ancient philosophers and leaders determined that happiness was. They determined that it was the absence of suffering. And furthermore, early Buddhists' teachings say that suffering is caused by one of three actions: craving, aversion, and ignorance. Now, the definition of aversion is a dislike or disinclination towards anything. When you interact with someone and you don't get the feedback you want, and you feel like you need to change your personality or behavior, that's aversion. It causes you to bring suffering upon yourself. You hate what you can't change. Moses led people through the wilderness for 40 years. 40! And they complained the whole time. Water, too wet. Manna was too boring. And what was the other one? Manna too bland. The journey was too long. They complained. They said, we should have stayed back in Egypt. Come on, what are you doing? Take us back to Egypt. This journey is too long. That's aversion. It's rejecting what is, creating suffering just because things aren't perfect in the moment. How we deal with aversion in our mind is another day and another message. But I promise you, I will bring this and much more full circle. And I implore you to stay tuned in because in addition to my free weekly, offerings to you, just informational, we offer workshops probably anytime there's people interested. Let's put it that way. Anytime there's an interest in getting deeper into how to control human suffering in your own life, how to avoid those things, how to avoid aversion, how to diminish the suffering. That's what these workshops focus on. So please like and subscribe to this channel. Leave a comment. Please let me know how you feel about the content, what you learned, what you'd like to learn, and I will do my best to write back to you. So this is Beth signing off. Take care and God bless.